Okay, we're live. All right, I guess this time it's just me and Bill, so this should be very quick. All
The
right,
opinions are going to be flying around hot and heavy.
I don't have to hear how outrageous I am or any of that from the other two. So all right, so we got to get on. So we lost to the Chiefs, obviously. We got the Bucks win. So I saw some of the questions you sent over. I guess let's talk about first of all the coaching staff. Obviously, up to week 9, we were 4-5 with Flacco. They go in, they make a midstream change. They're 4-1. This coaching staff, is it Lamar Jackson? Was he always the plan? I guess is the question there too, or is this a fluke that Flacco got hurt? You know what I mean? And it just happens to happen. So I guess we'll start off with the coaching staff. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I definitely don't think that that the plan was to go to Jackson if Flacco was winning and didn't get injured. Like if we were, I don't know, whatever, we were 4-5 when he went out. If we were 6-3 when he went out, there would have been no plan to go to Jackson. But we talked about all along the fact that if we weren't very good, we had a week 9 bye. Like that was when they might make the switch. Like if Flacco wasn't playing well, or was it week 10? Or I can't remember. Whatever it was, week 9. I think it was week 9. I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, we said at the time that if Flacco wasn't playing well going into that bye, that we could see a scenario, a very likely scenario. In fact, I think that we would see Jackson after the bye to see what we had going forward. It just so happened that Flacco got injured, and it wasn't just a 1 week situation where we had to make a decision. It was, well, we have to start somebody, and we want to see what we've got with Lamar. And, we kind of lucked out with the scheduling. We had such a cupcake, for Lamar's first game, really the first 2 games, honestly. And then we didn't have a real test until Atlanta, and their defense is garbage. It just so happens that they have a decent offense. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for the Falcons, they ran into the buzzsaw that our defense, played out of its mind that day. So, it was, we kind of had 3 cupcakes, the first 3 weeks. Now we played Kansas City legit. So, I give him credit. I don't like Marty Mornhinweg. I am squarely on record as saying that I do not have faith nor belief in his abilities to adjust. I've said it. I have to give him credit. He's adjusted on this one. Lamar has taken offense. Now, we've cut the playbook way back, obviously, and we're only having success based upon Lamar Jackson being an absolutely insane athlete. But he's an absolutely insane athlete, so you can kind of base the offense around him. I mean, it's not like Michael Vick. I mean, didn't Michael Vick have almost 1,000 yards as a rookie? I can't remember exactly what it was. It may have been 1,000 yards.
It was the second or third year.
Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, he ran a lot. He ran a lot, basically. So, I mean, you do what you can when you can, I guess. Lamar can run, and he's 21 years old, and he, hopefully, knock wood, he doesn't sustain any kind of injury that inhibits him from doing that, and he's able to develop as a pocket passer. I believe that he can do it. I mean, the guy threw for 9,000 yards as a college player. He knows how to throw the ball. Yeah, he's got some accuracy problems based upon his inability to replicate the correct mechanics, to throw the same spiral every time. And okay, we got to work on that. At the same time, he's the only player in the league that's gone whatever it was, 20 miles an hour on every carry, on all of his carries over 10 yards or whatever it was, whatever insane stat that was. So, I don't know how much of it is Lamar and how much of it is coaching. That's the problem. And I don't. If we did not have the turnaround that we have had with Lamar, if Lamar came in and played okay, but we were 2-3 in the games that Lamar played, I don't think we would be having a conversation about whether this coaching staff was going to be back. We would know that they were not going to be back because they were not successful to run an offense with Flacco, and they have not been successful to run an offense with Lamar, and that's just the way it goes. But the fact is, we've got a few guys on this coaching staff outside of Harbaugh, and I think Harbaugh, I'm kind of tired of his shtick, but he's a decent manager of people. And James Urban, the quarterback's coach, is a very good coaching prospect. I like him. And what's the guy? Greg Roman, the run game coordinator or whatever the hell his title is. He's always done a very good job with the running game. So, Lamar is a huge part of that. He had success with Kaepernick. He had success with it with Tyrod Taylor in Buffalo, and he's having success with it here with Lamar on the field. So those two guys I really like, but I don't really like Marty. And I can't say I would be too unhappy to see the back of Harbaugh, irrespective of our performance. Obviously if we go to the AFC Championship game or something or the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, for God's sakes, the coaching staff is going to be back. But if we miss out on the playoffs, which is still a real possibility, if we lose to San Diego or LA, or the Browns, they already beat us once. We're not going to make the playoffs at 9-7. We're just not. We have to win these last two games. So if we win the last two games, if we win the last two games, we're in. So we're the 6th seed. And if Pittsburgh shits the bed in New Orleans, maybe we get the 4 seed and a home playoff game, which would be awesome. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But I don't know how much of it is Lamar is an insane athlete and just faster and better than anybody thought he was going to be, or if the coaching staff and the coaching staff just can't get out of his way. Just give the ball to him or Gus Edwards and we're good, or if they're actually doing a really, really good job. Some of the schemes, the play to Chris Moore was a good play, schematically. But they are not scheming open the tight ends. Hayden Hurst is not playing well. And by this point in the season, if you're not getting anything out of the first round pick at tight end, it was probably a bad pick at tight end. On a team that was tight end needy enough to draft one in the first round over some other obviously more pedigreed players, and another one in the third round. They obviously did not think highly of Max Williams or Nick Boyle heading into the season. Now, both of those guys have turned out to be okay run blockers, with the Lamar offense. But they just still don't offer anything in the passing game. And Hayden Hurst still hasn't really cracked much of a show. He had more snaps than Andrews this last week, and he had 3 catches, but it was for such minimal yardage. And he's not really the reputation that he had was that this was a guy that never drops balls and he can block. He's sort of a dual purpose guy, and he's not blocking well. And the stats, the snaps don't lie. When we're looking to run block, it's Max Williams or Nick Boyle on the field. And when Nick Boyle got dinged with the concussion, it was Max Williams almost exclusively in the running situations. So Hayden Hurst, you better play, man. You're going to be 26 years old next year. You're not going to get a second contract. So we'll see.
All right, you went way off on coaching staff. I thought you were going to stop 10 minutes ago.
I went on a rant, man. I went on a rant.
So you went on a big rant. All right, my turn to go on my little rant, I guess. Here's what I would say. I would very seriously say this was in their plans to a degree. I don't think it was the main plan. I agree with you that Flacco was supposed to be the quarterback for the whole season. But if you kind of go back, he's been playing since week 1. He's been in the game, and they gave him just enough just to kind of get him a feel for the game without him having to be the sole savior of the team effectively. They gave him a little taste every week just to kind of get him warmed up, a few plays, here's a series here and there, to get him in. So I think the Flacco injury, which was real, I don't think it's a fake injury, definitely let them say, hey, you know what, we have this other skill set, let's put him in for a week. And if he wins, hey, great. But if we win and it's more defensively or something, get Flacco back in. Hey, we got lucky. We got out of this with a win or two. We have Flacco back for the Atlanta game, blah, blah, blah. But as I said before, way back in the draft, when I was looking at this team coming into this year, I said your biggest need is quarterback because Flacco just cannot get it done. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not a playmaker, and this team had no playmakers last year. You need a guy to come in and be a playmaker, and them drafting Lamar was them getting a playmaker because this team had zero playmakers at all. So getting him in the game, I think the coaching staff noticed our best player is sitting on the sideline. We need to get this guy in more. So when that injury happened and he became the playmaker they knew that he was, and I knew that he was, that's right, Lamar Jackson, that's what changed his team around. Because if you don't have somebody on this team who's a playmaker, the coaching staff can only coach so far, but you need playmakers. And we've been missing on that for a couple of years. But Marlon Humphrey, he's becoming a playmaker now. We're seeing the defense get better. One of the questions I know some people have about coaching staff is, was there a defensive change in the scheme, or how do we attack teams better? Well, we have an older set of veterans who don't play it. You can't put those guys in the field that long. Then Lamar Jackson gave them the energy to keep playing because he runs those very long time of possession, such as the last game with the Bucks. We got the ball back with 7 minutes, 8 seconds, and we ran the clock all the way down. I've never seen the Ravens do that ever. Now, is this team built for this coaching staff and look at him and say, hey, if you're down 2 touchdowns, can you come back and win it? To be honest with you, I've seen him make some pretty good throws out there that could get us easily back in the game. But I also seen him miss some open guys where you're like, come on, man. I get the nerves. He gets nervous. And sometimes it's like when you see the wide open goal in soccer and you kick the ball and you kick it over because you got so excited it was just wide open. You're like, oh, my God, is this why didn't I call myself? That's what people don't get. I did see on the NFL Network they did do an adjusted percentage for him for his completion. And this is only for guys who caught the football, but there was a holding penalty or something like that along the line. So the pass was good. The play was good. It was actually 68.5 he was completing. That's extremely high. Not his fault if, there's a holding call on us and they got to bring it back. But he made the pass is what they're saying. That's the adjusted amount. So the player made the catch. He made the good pass. So looking at this coaching staff, I'll be honest with you. I think because you have a playmaker out there, John Harbaugh excels in coaching when he has a playmaker. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, that excel that team. He can do. You're right. He can manage people, but he has to have a playmaker to manage people because that's how he kind of operates. And since Lamar has been the most electrifying player in the National Football League, has really gotten this team going. And one more thing about the coaching staff overall. I don't think Harbaugh comes back next year. I don't think Marty comes back next year. And I think Don Wink Martell, I believe he's getting a head coaching job. He's been getting a lot of buzz.
I don't know if I can agree with Martindale getting head coaching jobs.
I'm just saying there's a lot of vacancies out there. I could see that happening with the team. I'm just saying I could see that happening with the team. Now you kind of jumped on me.
I mean, I don't know how much you watch the press conferences and stuff. If you watch like week to week, the coaching press conferences and all that stuff that's on Ravens.com. But Wink Martindale is a tough sell as far as a head coach goes, man. He's rough around the edges. He's got a mullet. I don't know. If I was an owner, I would not have confidence being like, this is my guy right here.
I'm agreeing, but you know how teams are. Someone gets hot and they get these deals.
I don't disagree. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't see it happening. I think Wink's ceiling is the defensive coordinator. Maybe at some point he'll get one of those interim head coaching type situations. But
let me jump for a second there, and just for talking about coaching staff. In my opinion, at least, I think there's a deal for McDaniels to come in next year and run this team. That's what I think, to be very honest with you.
I gotta say, I would not be incredibly happy with that development. I don't really like Josh McDaniels. I don't like him personally. I don't really like the level of success that he has had outside of the Patriots organization, and I don't really have confidence in him as a leader. I think he's a fucking baby. So no, I would like. You may be right. He may be the next head coach. I have no idea. I would be very surprised if there was a deal in place for him to come here. But it is not out of the realm of possibility that he would be the next head coach. But I would not be happy with that hire out of the gate. I would be irritated with that hire out of the gate.
Okay, well, that's your opinion, and you were wrong on some things in this draft and this team this year. So,
it's a bold statement, sir. It's a bold statement.
I'm going to say that that McDaniels is the guy. I think they want Harbaugh know that and to play his best for this year because he's playing for another job. Yes, he'll get another job.
Oh well, he'll get another job no matter what happened. Even if he collapsed this year, he would be in another job next year. I think. But
he's the type of guy who wants to go out on top. I think if he can ride it, he'll ride it and say, hey, "I'm a Super Bowl champ, coach."
You think he wouldn't be back if they won the Super Bowl? You think if he went out and won the Super Bowl, you don't think Bisciotti would bring him back?
I think that would depend on how good Lamar gets. If his passing gets into that 170 to 200, kind of starting this game coming up and moving forward, I think yes he could. But at the same time, man, you got to get some playmakers on his team if you want Harbaugh to be the coach.
I mean, I don't disagree. All I'm saying is, like, I don't think when it comes down to brass tacks, I don't think that Harbaugh has all of that much influence on whether Lamar Jackson turns into an efficient pocket passer and a playmaker outside of the running game. I think that's the offensive coaching staff. I think that's the quarterback's coach, and I think it's surrounding Lamar with a top flight wide receiver like Matt Ryan has, with a top flight running back like Eli Manning has. That's what we need to do. I think Gus Edwards fits Lamar's style perfectly. When you have the exterior of the defense having to freeze in position to make certain that Lamar can't escape one way or the other, it gives Edwards the right up the gut, and he is punishing people. The film study, Ken McCusick does a podcast, and he was talking about. It's the Film Study Podcast for any listeners that want to go and check out Ken McCusick. Good stuff. He was saying he was saying that Gus Edwards has 111 carries for 550 yards or something like that. Basically, it's right at 5 yards a carry, and his longest run, which just happened last week, was 26 yards. So almost all of his runs are between 2 and 10 yards. So it's like he is churning out yards. He has not had a carry for negative yardage yet this season, and he's put up a 5-yard average without a really long run. The year. People's averages get inflated because they run for 80-yard touchdown runs or 75-yard touchdown runs or whatever. And Gus Edwards hasn't gotten one of those, and he's still averaging 5 yards a carry. So I thought that was a good stat out of Ken McCusick. Thank you, Ken.
That is a good stat. But you also have to consider, is Gus Edwards a Le'Veon Bell, a Melvin Gordon? Is he on that level? So I still think you're going to draft a running back next year. Hopefully we won't be talking any of that until February. But let me stick to the top end. I mean, Kenneth Dixon back has also helped. So, not only is there a coaching change, there was a running back change.
Oh, hang on. Yeah. Speaking of things that people got wrong, I remember you shitting all over Kenneth Dixon. And yours truly being like, nah, I don't know, he's pretty talented. And you're like, nah, he's a bum. Done.
Yes, and the guys, that's why I said draft a running back next year. Like, are you crazy?
Hot take.
Okay, take your hot take. I'm still going to draft a running back next year.
Me too.
The guy played injured for quite a while, but he's playing well for now. So, but I mean, in the beginning of the season, we had what, Alex Collins and Buck Allen, I guess. And who was the other guy? I forgot their name.
I mean, what we have right now with Gus Edwards is a very good compliment to Lamar. Basically, he's just a sledgehammer. He's going straight forward and leaning forward and getting as many yards as he can, and he's getting them at 5, 6, 8 yards a clip. And that is exactly what fits our offense. Kenneth Dixon has been a nice change of pace the last couple of weeks. I was surprised that Ty Montgomery was inactive on the last game, and Buck Allen was up. I don't know if he has an injury or if something happened, like if he's in a doghouse or something for whatever reason. But I was surprised that Buck Allen got the call because he only played 3 snaps. And he was not effective in the 3 snaps that he played. Yeah. So I would say Buck Allen is all the way done. I would be surprised. I would not be surprised if they tendered Alex Collins maybe at like the 2nd round level, see if they could get a taker. But otherwise he's gonna go in as a restricted free agent because he came to us.
Come on, running backs you can get in the draft. No one's gonna get a 2nd round for that guy. You might get lucky to get a 5th round or 6th round pick for the guy, but we'll move on beyond that part. Let's move on to this Chargers game.
All right, let's do it.
They're getting back Melvin Gordon. They're getting Eckler back and a defensive tackle, I believe, one of their bigger guys. I forgot his name, which will improve their run defense. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do the Chargers first scare you? Second of all, with that much ammunition, they got a great passing game, but Rivers can't get outside the pocket very well. How much? What are the Ravens defensively? We'll start there. Have to do to go against them. So we'll start with your confidence. How scared are you of the Chargers? And 2, what is the defense? We'll start defense versus Chargers offense. So any key matchups or key things the Ravens going to need to do?
As far as defense, I think that Rivers can throw the ball, and he's going to throw it all over the place. And he might get a bunch of yards. Frankly, that doesn't concern me. If between the 20s, if he throws on us all day and whatever, 350 yards passing, I don't care. As long as they keep kicking threes. Like if we trade 7s for 3s all day, I'll be happy and we'll go home, win. And so Rivers, he is a legit quarterback. So he's going to get his. And, if Keenan Allen is back from injury, which it seems like he's going to be, he's probably going to get his. And I would not be surprised if in the first game back, Melvin Gordon was not on some kind of limited snap count situation where, I don't know if we'd see him early or they maybe try to get a lead and then use him a little bit ahead, some misdirection stuff to try to, limit the big hits on him running up the gut. But, I would not be surprised if Gordon said it himself that he wanted to knock some rust off. Now, I don't know how much of that is just showmanship, or just words, but it would not be surprising to me if he did have a little bit of rust. And I read somewhere, the transcript of Wink Martindale's press conference this week, and he was talking about the effectiveness of both Pierce and Williams, and talking about, in situations where we face a dominant runner, having both of them on the field would be, something that, he's definitely considered. And I think if we are able to play the run effectively with the nickel on the field, like a big nickel, put Pierce and Williams in the same, D line with maybe Urban, as a DN, put some pressure, or Zadarius Smith also could play that role. I think we could contain Gordon with the nickel on the field and just play the run straight up and be like, yeah, you're going to pass against our nickel all day, and you can't run with Melvin Gordon with just our guys on the field. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I'm confident in the defense. I would say, I am nervous about this game for the reason of the fact that San Diego's run defense is legit. they're like the 9th ranked run defense or something, and so that'll be the biggest test that we faced as far as people being able to contain
We're
Lamar.
sticking to Chargers offense, Ravens defense first.
All right.
All right. So you got your key matchups. All right. I'm going to be real honest here. I think the Chargers offense is better than our defense. And the reason why I say that is they have Mike Williams, it was Ty Williams, they have Keenan Allen, Antonio Gates, Austin Eckler. Plus you can still throw Melvin Gordon out of the backfield. So that's a lot of targets. And all those names I said, he will throw the football too. Those guys are all going to be fast.
Gates doesn't scare me anymore. Mosley can cover Gates, and Kenny Young can cover Gates. He's not the same player he used to be. He's still a good player. He's not the same player he used to be.
I'm just going to say I think he shows up for this game. So it's still a lot of bodies you got to count for, a lot of guys you got to look at out there. I'm scared. I don't think this defense will hold up well against the Chargers offense, to be very honest with you. So in this particular scenario for these two teams, I'm pretty scared. Actually, I would give a 10 on the scare level for
a 10 out of 10. Wow.
I think the defense. Obviously, the key to winning is time possession. We're going to head to the other side of the football in a minute. I think they're going to get some good stops in this game early, but I think the Chargers offense will start to wear them down that second half. So for me, I'll give the Ravens. Not so scary in the first half of the game, but the second half, I'm pretty worried. I'm extremely worried because this defense, I don't know if they can hold up against this attack of passing from Phillip Rivers. And I know we're going to get hit with a quarterback hit there that's going to get us a 15-yard penalty once or twice in this game. So I'm pretty scared. I'm pretty scared.
I mean,
let's flip the.
I mean, they're a good team. They're a good team. I'm definitely not a 10 out of 10 because I think we play Rivers pretty well historically. And, I think that he, if you play him right, he'll throw the ball to you. He'll throw some interceptions. I mean, he's playing extremely well this year and does not have that many. But if you get him rattled, if we start hitting him, he'll throw us some interceptions, I think. But like I said, we're getting ready to go to offense, and I think if we're able to, if we're able to run on their defense, like if we're still able to execute and we're not getting stuffed behind the line of scrimmage and Lamar's not getting pancaked and stuff, I like our chances on time of possession. The numbers across the board, we're playing astronomically well in regards to the number of snaps that our offense is playing, in regards to the snaps that our number of the defense is playing is in regards to a low number, and the time of possession, we are murdering people. So, we'll see.
All right. It scares me pretty much. I don't know if the defense can hold up. Like I said, the whole game, they're going to give up. I think some pretty good plays in this one. My feeling is we're going to give up about 24 points on this team. I think the Chargers offense kind of beats this defense a little, but we're going to flip the script. Now we get Lamar Jackson and the offense versus the Chargers defense. All right, what's your confidence level against their defense, and what are the keys we got to do to kind of take down that defense in your opinion?
Well, they've got two good defensive ends. Bosa and Ingram are both talented players. And both of them, despite being disruptive pass rushers, also play the run pretty well. Ingram is stout in addition to Bosa. Bosa is one of the better run-playing defensive ends in the league. I would say he, in that regard, saying he's on par with Suggs is a bit much, but he's very good. And so Ingram is no slouch either. He's a stout player. He's a shorter player and heavier than a lot of defensive ends. But both of them play the run very well. So it's going to depend on our offensive line getting the better of a good player. Like we need Stanley and Orlando Brown to show up in this game in a big way. And if they can control those edges and give Lamar a chance to step up through that channel, I think I would say I'm confident in our offensive line and their ability to move people off the ball. it's just going to depend on whether we're able to contain Bosa and Ingram from making plays on their own, because they're very good players in their own right.
All right, my turn. Look, I actually like their run defense. I think they're going to get to Lamar quite a few times, and Gus, especially in the first half of this game a little bit. So it's going to really rely on Lamar throwing the football. So I'm actually extremely confident in that. I think he's going to learn some things by throwing it more to the tight ends and controlling the middle of the field. I think he'll actually do better than most people expect. Not great, but I think he's going to do better to get those first downs. Once he opens up the passing game more in this particular second half of this game, I think that's how the Ravens are going to actually end up winning. This is going to be a lot more of a battle in the second half, and I think the Ravens are going to end up – I think Crabtree shows up. I think Brown shows up. I think Mark Andrews – we all love Mark Andrews. I think he shows up in this game. I think this is going to be more about the passing game. A lot of people are kind of predicting that too, but I think it's more about the passing. I think he'll excel, and I think he's going to kind of wow some people this particular week against the Chargers. That once you do that, bam, they can't really do a pass rush. We can get the football out. I am much more confident in our offense than the Chargers defense on passing. Not much in the run game. I think that will open up more in the second half, late in the second half. I think we'll get the football back probably there with 6 minutes left, and we're going to run all 6 minutes off the clock. That seems to be a great MO for this team, that the defense can get out of this game in the fourth quarter and not play again in the midway through the fourth quarter. That's impressive for this team. So, in my opinion, the Ravens game plan kind of coming to this, they're going to throw it a lot more than the Chargers are expecting them to. I think that's the secret weapon to win this game for them. Lamar will still get some running plays in, maybe 9-10 carries for 40, 30 yards, somewhere around there. Not as much as he's normally done. I think Gus is probably going to be somewhere around 70, 80 yards. But his passing game, 240 yards for him, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in the air. So, yeah, I'm being serious, man. I think he opens this game up in the second half. Not much in the first, but in the second half, I think he'll open it up more.
I like your confidence in the passing game, but I think you're selling him short in the running game. I think he'll still run. I think he's going to run, and I think he's well served to do so. I think he's doing it extremely smart right now. I would like to see him slide a little bit more. He's sort of diving into yardage, which is fine. He's picking up 3, 4, 5 extra yards by doing that kind of stuff, trying to split 2 guys and stuff, but he's also getting pounded. So I would like to see him use a little bit more judicious use of the slide, but he's doing a great job getting out of bounds. He's running, he's getting what he can get and then getting out of bounds. He's not taking a ton of huge hits, which is important. I would like to see him take a few less, but I don't think there's anything wrong at this point getting those hidden yards. You know, like I agree that they're going to come out and they're going to try to establish that Lamar can pass and have success passing because that loosens up all those running game issues.
Right.
But I would like to see him still have in his back pocket, like, you know, maybe throw a couple of those, like, you know, throw a play, like call a play that purposefully clears the middle of the field, like 2, you know, spread outs and invite those pass rushers up the field and see if you can get the middle of the field to open up and he can gash them with a scramble, like, yeah, we're looking to pass, but also did that field just open up wide in front of me? Like I can run 40 yards and not have anybody touch me. Let me take some of that, so like, you got to mix it up a little bit. I don't have any problem with him running. I just want him to do it smartly, and I want him to slide at the end of the runs when he's going into traffic. Obviously, when there's a first down in play, or even more so a touchdown in play, you got to do what you got to do. But in general, I don't really want. I would rather have a 2nd and 1 than have a first down trying to get 11 yards and get murdered trying to get that extra 2 yards. So
Right.
We'll see how it goes.
That's true. That's a good point there. So with that being said, give me a prediction on your score for the Chargers game. We'll start off there. What do you think the score is going to be?
I agree with you that it's 24 points for the Chargers. I'm going to call the same score that I called for the Chiefs game, and it ended up we were on the wrong side of the score. I'm hoping that I call it right this time. I'm going 27-24 Ravens, and we do what we do. Like, they're going to score points, and we're just going to grind it out. I would not be surprised if Phillip Rivers has a good day. I don't necessarily think that the running back, what's the Chargers running back's name?
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that Melvin Gordon is going to have a good day, but I do think Rivers is going to get his because he's really good, and it would not be surprised to me for us to be in a shootout. So I think they'll probably score in chunks. And we'll just keep doing what we do. We'll grind out, 10, 12, 15 play drives that take 7 minutes, and we score a touchdown at the end of them, So, I just hope we have one more touchdown than they have at the end of the game.
All right. Score-wise, I think the Chargers scored the 24. I think we end up with 33-24. And I think Matt Stover gets quite a few field goals in there, because if you can just get him to the
Matt Stover
39.
Matt Stover coming back?
Oh my God. Justin Tucker, I'm thinking 2000 Ravens, man.
Rob, are you having a stroke?
I'm having
Do you
a stroke.
smell burning?
I'm thinking about 2000. Thinking about the 2000 Ravens. But sorry, Justin Tucker. So I think you get Tucker. All Lamar has to do is really go about 40 yards. He can do that. They're going to be in a lot of positions to score a lot of field goals in this game. I think he gets them there quite a few times. So I like the 33-24 score. And I think we kind of convincingly win this game. I think Rivers will end up throwing, like you said, maybe an interception in there. If you can get a couple of hits, the game plan he gets pissed. When he starts getting pissed, he makes stupid decisions.
Yeah.
So
I
agree.
Shit talker. They were talking about it all week. They've been talking about it all week. He's a shit talker. And like Judon, I want Judon to get a couple sacks in this game because Judon is our neutralizer. Remember what was the dude's name? Oh God, the Spur. Nah. What was the dude's name that always guarded Jordan great? The Spur. He was played for the San Antonio Spurs, and I can't remember his name. Sports
David Robinson, aren't you?
Nah, it's not David Robinson. He was like a small forward or something, but whatever. That guy wasn't really a great player. He's a great defensive player, but he was a neutralizer for Jordan. He played defense against Jordan better than anybody else. And so that's Judon. Judon is the king of shit talking. And so I hope Judon gets a couple early sacks, I'm hoping for sacks, but a couple early hits. Get on his face and I don't know, rub your balls on his head while you're getting up or whatever you got to do, Judon, and then just shit talk him like nobody's business for the rest of the game.
Well, I remember he hated Jay Cutler so much it was Jay Cutler, right? Yeah, it was Jay Cutler who was over there in Denver, right? For all of his years.
Yeah.
And those two just hated each other's guts every game, give each other the finger. I say give him the finger, piss him off, fart in his face. I don't know, do something. I don't know. Do something to that guy. Get him angry. All right, let's move on to the Browns game. Obviously, Baker Mayfield is probably the best rookie that came out of this draft class right now. But he's playing pretty well. But he makes some dumb decisions. I've watched him play. He is throwing the ball on the ground a lot. I've seen him throw a couple interceptions. He makes some dumb plays. Browns, Ravens, obviously, if we win this game is huge because if the Steelers lose to the Saints or don't lose or whatever, no matter what, every week, every game matters for this team. So we got the Browns. Thoughts on the Browns going up against them if we win this game coming in hot because we're going to play them at home.
Before I forget, Bruce Bowen is who I'm talking about. Spurs guarded Jordan great.
Bruce Bowen.
Okay, so second, the Browns. Second, the Browns. Yeah, I mean, Baker Mayfield's legit. And Jarvis Landry, that I had a very large man crush on Jarvis Landry prior to his being traded to the Browns, to my chagrin. And so, they've got a real team. Like, they're no joke anymore. Their defense is not terrible. Their offense is not terrible. They have a pretty good running game with Nick Chubb, and Baker Mayfield can sling it, and he's accurate, and he extends plays the same way that Lamar does. Obviously, not to the extent he's not as athletic as Lamar can, as far as running down the field. But Baker can scramble around and get out of sticky situations and sling it at all angles, just the same way that that Lamar can, that Patrick Mahomes can, that Favre did. So yeah, I mean, the Browns. We're gonna have to play the Browns. The Browns are going to be the new Bengals because I think the Bengals have shit the bed and they're done, Phil. So, like, I think, AJ Green is not – he keeps getting injured. Turf toe ended more than a couple careers, and I think we're seeing it live with AJ Green right now. And Andy Dalton, that ginger can't do anything without AJ Green. He will not be the quarterback there 2 years from now. In 2019, Andy Dalton will be the quarterback. In 2020, he will not be in Cincinnati. So, I think Cincinnati's almost all done, although Joe Mixon is a good player. But yeah, the Browns are no cupcake. We can't count them as 2 wins anymore.
Well, my question to you is, with this Lamar Jackson-led offense, did we get the win? That's the question.
Yeah. I mean, I think we win out. I think we make the playoffs. I'm hoping that the Saints do us a favor and actually show up and play against the Steelers. And we get a W for the good guys down in New Orleans, and we can get a backdoor AFC North championship. Lamar Jackson, AFC North winning championship quarterback. So I would like that very much. We'll see if that happens, but yeah, I think we're gonna do it. I think this team the change is real. Like I can't remember now who it was that said it, but one of the defenders, I can't remember who it was. I was just watching all of the press conferences, the press conferences yesterday, and somebody was just talking, what's with Lamar and the offense, and how do you think he's whatever? And the defensive guy was like, yeah, Lamar is my man. Like I love him. He was just going crazy about it. So like this team believes it. Like this team believes. So
hang on.
Sometimes that's enough.
Somebody on this podcast said way back after we drafted them and then the preseason, somebody in this podcast, that'll be me, said, excuse me, hang on.
Let me ask you a quick question. Who is sitting shotgun on the bandwagon? I'm just asking. Who's sitting
I'm just saying it's for Allen Vincent.
Who was it? I'm sorry. Who's shotgun?
That'd be Bill.
Bill.
But
you have to tell me shit.
I remember that reporter said, and you just kind of validated that he was sitting in the back of the plane joking around with all the guys back there, and he was like the center of attention. They were all over him, and he was making everybody laugh. And he said the last guy who did that was John Elway.
So, I mean, some guys just have that. Some guys just have that it factor.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's a playmaker. Remember, Ray Lewis had that it factor. He was a playmaker. He came out there. He made plays. He made things happen.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to sell me on the mediocrity of Joe Flacco and the excitement of Lamar Jackson. I mean, we've been singing this song for a year and a half. So, we have been saying that Flacco is not adding the value to which he has been assigned as far as his cap number. He is not playing up to his salary. And when that's the case, you either have to go or you've got to take a pay cut, because we have to, if you're not good enough, we have to surround you with better talent, and we have to pay better talent, which means you can't make as much because you're not doing enough as that salaried player would mandate. So,
well, you know what? Let me add to that and say your talent level doesn't mandate that. His talent level did not mandate that.
Well, we can't. I mean, that's just bad timing. We can't do anything about the contract now. There's no use. No. I mean, he bet on himself and then won the Super Bowl MVP. So I can't. What are you going to do? But we are many years down the road now, and bad extension away. So I am extremely happy to get out from under that albatross of the contract.
I agree, and we'll hit on that in a second. Actually, but as I was saying before, this team got energized with him because you need a playmaker, man. I think we both said that way back in that draft. You got to get playmakers. You got to get somebody that can make something happen when they're on the field. And this is the first playmaker we've had. God,
I mean,
2013 or 12.
I mean, like we watch the draft together every single year, and every single year you and I come to the draft with like, oh, this is my favorite wide receiver. Who's yours? Oh, this is my favorite wide receiver every year. And I got to say, my track record's pretty good. I've picked a lot of guys who have played extremely well in the NFL, and we have not gotten one of them. And it makes me crazy, you know? And so like every year that Reggie Wayne plays well, every year that Chad Johnson played well, every year that DeAndre Hopkins has played well, like I just want to
Juju.
Like, I mean, yeah, Juju, like, you know, I mean, we had the year that Stephon Diggs came out, we had 5 fourth-round picks. 5. We had 5 fourth-round picks.
I know.
He went in the 5th round. We had 5 fourth-round picks, and he went to Maryland. That's 45 minutes from our campus.
I know. These folks have said, why are we not taking Diggs? Why are we not taking Diggs? What is happening? Can I call in Diggs? Can I make a call?
it was like torture. It was torture. And my wife is a Minnesota Vikings fan. I have to watch Stephon Diggs roast, slice and dice the NFC North week to week. It makes me crazy. It makes me crazy. So, you know, we got to pick a wide receiver, but then we've got to hit on a wide receiver. Please just get a good one.
Right. Well, you know what? With Eric DaCosta coming in, and I think we both like Eric. He always has his red chip player, and he usually nails that position pretty well. So I'm pretty excited for him coming in. Here's a question for you, and we'll go back to Flacco. They offered Flacco, we will trade you to your team that he wants to go to. Question is, what's the best draft pick you can get for Joe Flacco?
I think probably the feeling is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of the Alex Smith trade, the 3rd-round pick, and it's like a player. I would be more than satisfied with that. If we were to get a player, like a decent player out of it and a 3rd-round pick, I would be extremely happy with that return.
Well, a need at safety is definitely on this team. Another need at defensive back, I would say, is needed on this team.
Inside linebacker?
Yeah, you go inside linebacker. You know, a center would probably be.
Yeah, I mean, like you want to get the resources where you can get. Like, I don't think that any team is going to give you their starting center for Joe Flacco. So, but I do think you could get like, I don't know, somebody's like, you know, nickel linebacker or something that's like only getting a handful of snaps. Well, not a handful, but isn't playing maximum amount of time because he's got a couple players in front of him, whatever. Like you could steal a guy that is talented, you know, like try to get it, yeah, we want a 2nd-round pick for him, but we only want to give a 3rd. All right, we'll add in, you know, whatever XYZ player. You know, that's the kind of thing. You know, I remember we got Fabian Washington for a 4th-round pick, things like that. Like we have our eye out there for players that are role players that, you know, aren't necessarily like top of the marquee, you know, at either defensive back or linebacker, and we could get a nice player like that, you know. So we'll see.
Well, I want to be honest with you. I've heard the Redskins name pop in there. I wonder if Quentin Dix, if they didn't tag him, trade him to us, and they get Joe Flacco back in return would be pretty acceptable to me. Player for a player, I would take Quentin Dix, man. Throw him back there at safety. That's a playmaker.
I mean, like, I want something for Flacco. Like, something is better than nothing. I don't want to see him just get cut and he just goes and signs with somebody else for $5 million or whatever he can get. Like, you know, I want something back from Flacco because, like, yeah, we all know that he's as good as the players around him. He's not going to be any better if he doesn't go to a team that has a good wide receiver, he's not going to play well. You know, like if he goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've got a decent defense, but who are their wide receivers? They don't really have anybody down there. Marquise Lee just got hurt. Like, you know, they don't really have anybody. So if he goes down there, it's going to be exactly the same thing they get here. They'll be a mediocre middle-of-the-road team that he shits the bed twice a season and has a couple of flare-up games where he plays well enough to give the franchise hope that he's going to be a player. But I mean, unless Flacco goes to somewhere that has a lot of playmakers like the Giants or something, you know, he's not going to be any different than he was here. So, but I mean, he still has value because he's not the best quarterback in the league, but he's like the 15th best or something. And if he's the 15th best quarterback in the league, that's worth something. So give me something in return.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't know who they would trade him to. There's some teams out there I've heard actually are highly interested actually in Flacco.
I mean, the
I'd
teams that
be
have teams, there's teams out there that got 50, 60, 70 million dollars to spend or more. Like what difference does it make to them? $18 million for a quarterback,
it's cheap.
yeah,
That's cheap.
it's just that's what the price is now. I mean, like what's the kids? I can't remember the guys. The backup in for the Bears. The backup for the Bears makes like $8 million. The backup. And so, I mean, the backup makes like 3 times the amount of the starter because Trubisky is only a second-year player. But that's the way it goes.
Let me hit off what you just said there. You're paying 18 instead of having to sign a guy to a possible $25 million contract. You're getting a discount.
Yeah,
and $6.5 million less.
Like in addition to that, you take on the contract and you got him for 3 years at not at like, I mean, it's still, we know he's not worth 20 million, but it's like 18, 20, 22 million, and there's no dead money. You can move on from him at any time. If you can draft a quarterback every year for the next 3 years, and if you hit on any one of the 3 of them, you can be like, hey, thanks a lot, Joe. We got a new guy. Take a hike. The Ravens took all that dead money. Right. So, I mean, he has value. He has value. So please don't just cut him.
I don't think they will. I think a trade definitely goes down for Flacco. I just like to have Clinton Dix, man. That'd be a great player putting that secondary. That'd be awesome. That just kind of shores up that back part of the second and the back 4 or 5 there. So let's move on.
I don't know. Yep. I don't know what Clinton Dix's contract situation is. I don't know when
he's a free agent. He's a free agent next year.
Well, I don't really want to sign and trade because I don't want to pay Clinton Dix, whatever $70 million because you're not gonna sign and trade for peanuts. And I don't think Clinton Dix is the best safety in the league, and I don't want to pay him top safety money.
All right. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. I mean,
yeah, I would not really be interested in trading I would not be interested in trading value for basically a big contract. I want a pick and some kind of a mid-level player. I don't remember. I think it was a wide receiver that was included in the Alex Smith trade. But Josh Doxson or somebody, I can't even remember who it was now, but that's what I would be looking for. Somebody like a wide receiver that could help us, a tight end that could help us, inside linebacker that could help us, a DB.
Let me throw. What wide receiver do you think would be out there at one of these teams, like the Jaguars, the Dolphins?
It's tough to say. I don't really know.
I've heard the Giants team actually thrown out there.
Yeah, I don't play fantasy, so I don't know the rosters the way that some people do who follow the individual skill players. I don't know whose contract it comes up when. So I don't know. Like I would have to look. I would basically want the same level of control or close to it over the player that we would get in return for Flacco. Like they have him for 3 years. I would want at least 2 on whatever contract we're trading the player for. And I would want to pick. So whether it's obviously a 3rd round pick would be I feel like that's what we could get. I feel like we could get a 3rd and maybe some kind of a mid-level player, anything more than that would be outstanding. And I would be satisfied if we were to get like a 4th round pick and a player. Like I would be like, well, yeah, he's not going to get as much as Alex Smith or whatever, but so I just think we need to get something in return and turn that into more than just one player, especially one that we're taking on another big contract with.
All right. I mean, there is also the possibility of trading Jimmy Smith. I haven't heard next year as well and getting a draft pick. I think DeCosta likes to draft a lot. I don't know if he has the same mentality Ozzie does, which is that mix of veteran draft and guys we kind of develop, they kind of fill the gap.
If they could trade Jimmy Smith, that would be great because we know he can't stay healthy. If he finishes out this year healthy and he has value and we're able to deal him, I would absolutely look to do that because we know that Humphrey can play the 1 and Carr is still a decent nickel. And we've got Tavon Young as a nickel if Carr was to get hurt. And we're probably going to draft another corner. So, I like Kennedy. I like Anthony Everett. I like Tavon Young and I love Marlon Humphrey. So I feel good about our ability to continue to play defense without Jimmy Smith and his big contract and his defensive his like suspension problems and injury problems. Like I would love to be able to trade Jimmy Smith for something.
The Eagles really do need defensive back help. I'm wondering if that might be a trade there, maybe like a 3rd round pick. He gets a 3rd for Jimmy. He gets a 3rd for Flacco.
I think we might be able to get more than a 3rd for Jimmy, depending. I don't think a 2nd is outside of the possibility for Smith because he's. I mean, I don't know how old he is. He's like 29 or something. Is he 30? Yeah. So all right, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking a 3rd. All right. Call it a 3rd. Call it a 3rd.
But the Eagles need defensive back help. I mean, that's just the team I'm naming out there. I could see them trading them to the Eagles because we have a good relationship with them. To say, hey, here's a defensive back, give us a 3rd round pick.
He's a good player when he's on the field. You can't rely on him.
Yeah, agreed. So I guess we'll go to our last part of the segment here because it's getting kind of late. Let's go to playoffs, man. So what do you think? Are we going to be the 4th seed or there's even a chance of the 3rd seed? Because, the New England Patriots have 5 losses. I haven't seen that since 2008. 5. There's a chance they could lose to Buffalo. Yeah, they could lose to Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo's beaten them before. It's supposed to be – I don't know.
I mean, division games. You never know. Division games.
You never know. All
I don't like our chances of being the 3rd seed.
All right, you're going to cut us out.
I feel all right about maybe getting the 4th seed. I think Drew Brees is going to slice and dice the Pittsburgh defense. And so Ben's going to get his too because their offense is nasty. But I would not be surprised if Pittsburgh loses in the Dome. And so if we take care of business, that's the 4th seed. So yeah, I mean, I think I would. I think that the Saints and the Pittsburgh game is a true 50-50 coin flip. Like I think those are 2 very evenly matched teams, and so I believe that we're going to win our last 2 games. So I call our chances to be the 4th seed 50-50.
Wow. I'm going to go higher than that. I think there's a 85% chance we're the 4th seed. I think Saints beat them. And I'm going to shock you right here. I think the Bengals actually beat the Steelers in the last week because they have a good run game and their defense isn't as bad sometimes, but
I don't know. That's a bold prediction.
That's bold. I got a feeling the Bengals going to get them. But yeah, I'm going to go with you. I think we actually end up. Boy, I don't know, man. I think New England could lose another game here against Buffalo and maybe win a close one against the Jets to go to 10-6. If that happens and we're 10-6, we get the bump to the 3rd. So you know what? I'm taking the 3rd seed. I think the Ravens actually end up in the 3rd seed.
I like where your head's at.
I'm telling you, I've got this feeling Buffalo's going to beat the Patriots. It's just going to be because Josh likes to run. And sometimes that defense, I mean, you got to think about it. They have a good run game there, but no Gordon, or what that's his name? Yeah, Josh Gordon. He's gone now. Gronk is pretty broken down, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. Buffalo's going to come here and play like we can win because you're 9-5. You're not the 13-2 Tom Brady Patriots. You're 9-5. You're not that good. And
I had forgotten, or I wasn't thinking even about Josh Gordon. I read that today about the fact that he's stepping away for his mental health or whatever the situation.
Whatever his problem is.
Whatever his problem is this time.
Problem is or whatever.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them because he was just really starting to come on. So that's a big loss for them.
And you get a broken down Gronk. Gronk is now playing Gronk like he used to.
He's on the injury report again. He's back on. So
I'm going to be honest with you. I think Buffalo gets them. I think they squeak by the Jets, but don't be surprised if the Jets don't beat them because the Jets are not that bad. They've hung in there in quite a few games the last few weeks and done pretty well.
All right. Let's slow our roll. We're going to the 1 seed, boys.
I didn't say all that. I'm just saying
the whole league is going to collapse and we're going to rise to the top.
All I'm going to say is I think If we win the next two, I think the Steelers lose one here at least. Maybe they beat the Bengals. We'll see about that. We'll see how broken down they might be.
The Bengals, but I think the Saints are going to give them all they can handle. So I'm hoping for a Saints win, even though I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do usually root for them if their interests are not diametrically opposed to our own. But but I'm hoping for a loss for the Steelers down in New Orleans, and hopefully we take care of our own business. We have two games. We have to win both of them. We are not going to get into the playoffs at 9-7. So we have got to win both games. And I'm hoping for the added benefit of Pittsburgh shitting the bed in the Big Easy. And hopefully we get into the 4 spot and get a little home cooking. That'd be all right.
Hey, I'm there with you, man. I'm there. So here's our next part. If we get the 3 seed like I think we're going to get, I think New England gets the 4, man. I'm not going to joke around about that. I'm pretty serious. We get the 3. In my scenario, we play the Colts at the 6 seed. We get the 4 seed. In your scenario, we play, guess who? The San Diego Chargers possibly, or the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're putting us in a bad spot. But if we get the 4th seed, what's your confidence level? Who would you rather play, Chargers or Chiefs? That's a tough one.
Well, that assumes a victory the first time or in the first game. If we get to the 4 seed, playing the Chiefs assumes a victory against whomever we play, whether it be Indianapolis or I don't know how it's going to shake out. But
no. Those guys are 11 wins. Indianapolis can only get up to 10 wins at this point. They can't get beyond that. The Chargers already have, I think, 10 wins now or 11 at this point. I think they have 11 wins. So that's what I'm saying to you.
But we're not.
They're going to be.
Chiefs are going to have a bye.
No. The Chargers can still win the division itself.
Not if we beat them. They're not going to win if we beat them.
I'm just saying they still can't. But all right, let's go with that.
Well, I mean, they're playing us. They're not. I mean, we have to win. We have to win.
Hey,
so if we're talking about our getting to the 4th seed, we have to win. Which means the Chargers lost against Kansas City's.
Kansas City loses the next 2.
They're not. Come on, man.
I'm just saying. Come on, man. Hell on. Let's go back to my question. Chargers or Chiefs, but if you want to take the Chargers, that's fine. Chargers here in Baltimore, what are your feelings? Because we just played them. It's 2 weeks later.
I would definitely rather play the Chargers. Mahomes adds an element that you can't plan around, and I know who Phillip Rivers is, and I think we can stop the run, and I think we could play him well enough to win. And the Chiefs' defense is not good, really. They play better in Kansas City, which would be problematic. But I mean, I would definitely rather play the Chargers.
Okay. Well, in my scenario, I get the Colts. We would smash the Colts completely. So I'm not even worried about that game. All right. Next round, your bye teams. Let's say it's Kansas City and Houston. In your scenario and in my scenario, we both would probably end up playing if the 6 seed won. If not, I guess. In my scenario, we would get the Texans. In your scenario, I guess we would get Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I
get Chargers to get Kansas City.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would rather play Kansas City than Houston, honestly. I think Houston's defense is the best matchup against us. Houston is the team that scares me the most en route to the Super Bowl. I think their defense very much aligns. Their strengths align with what we're trying to do. So they would be the most equipped to stop what we're trying to do game to game. So, and they have playmakers like DeAndre Hopkins is legit. So, I would not. Houston is a team I'd like to avoid. I would love to have somebody else take care of them before we have to worry about them.
Gotcha. I would much rather play Houston than Kansas City because, like you said, Patrick Mahomes has that it factor type deal, and the guy looked the other way and threw the football on a 4th and 9 and got some.
I don't disagree with that statement. Mahomes scares me, and that's the reason I would rather play the Chargers than the Chiefs. But I know.
What's his round two?
But hang on. But I know that our offense can do what we want to do against Kansas City's defense. So like we're at least going to be in the Kansas City game. Like, yeah, we have to stop Mahomes and we have to try to get in his face and get some picks and stuff like that. But I know that our offense can function against the Kansas City defense. I don't know that if we play Houston. So because if they stuff the run, you know, if Gus Edwards is stopped in his tracks and they're containing Lamar Jackson, then we're going to find out what we can really do. You know, I would rather avoid Houston at all costs if possible.
Okay. Well, in your scenario, the 4 plays to 1, so you play the Chiefs. Let's say you win, you get New England or Houston. I'm going to say New England for you.
Yeah.
I think our confidence level was pretty high in beating New England. Is that correct in your scenario?
I mean, you mean Tom Brady? You got Tom Brady, you got a chance, but he does not have a lot of talent around him, and I would like our chances. I don't think that offense against our defense could score more than 20, 23 maybe, and I think we are good enough to beat Tom Brady at that number. So, you know, I would be more like I said, I want to avoid Houston. So,
all right. Well, in my scenario, the Chargers would be the 5th seed. They would actually end up playing the Kansas City Chiefs. In my scenario, they would beat the Chiefs again. So the Chargers come to Baltimore. It's like a roadshow for us at the Chargers. But they have to come here. I got the AFC Championship game, Chargers-Ravens, right here in Baltimore, rematch of the Week 16 game that we won.
I do like a home AFC Championship game.
Yes.
That part is the spice I like on the on the home. But I can't say that I'm very confident of getting the 3 seed. Let's just work on getting the 6. Because if we earn the 6, we've got a possibility of getting the 4. That's all I'm saying. Like just win the next 2 games. Win the next 2 games, you got the 6. And if Pittsburgh does us a favor, then we get the 4. Great.
All right, we get the 3. I'm telling you right now, we're going to get the 3 seed. We're going to shock a lot of people getting the 3 seed. Okay. And they're going to be like, how dangerous is this team? Okay. I got us going. Obviously, the Chargers coming here. Hometown crowd. We never had an AFC Championship game. This is difficult because this reminds me of the 2008 season when we went to Pittsburgh and we lost that game. And, God, we were that close to getting in and getting there, if you remember. And I think we lost that one by a touchdown. Am I right or am I wrong? In that 2008. So I think in this particular case, because this team is a little bit different and it's a home crowd, you move on to the Super Bowl in my scenario. We'll move on to the Super Bowl in your scenario. What's the one team in the NFC that you do not want to face? If we go. Who do you not want?
That is a good question.
Seahawks match up pretty well, and I think that's a dangerous team.
There really isn't anybody in the NFC that scares me like outright.
Rams.
I mean, the Rams aren't playing as well as they were. Jared Goff has not been playing that well the last 4 games, and so I think they could be had. I don't know. I don't know. There's nobody in the NFC that scares me.
Drew Brees.
I mean, I would say that he is the quarterback that I don't want to face. I don't think that the Saints defense is all that great. So I like our chances of being able to do stuff against them. But yeah, I mean, Brees is definitely the quarterback I don't want to face.
Okay. I think some other teams are obviously Dallas may be getting it. Could be the Eagles again. We don't know. Vikings are in there. That 5th seed is – who's the 5th seed in the NFC right now?
I don't know.
How can we forgot too? I know Seattle. I think maybe Seattle is the 5th seed, right?
I look up when the dust clears.
Gotcha. I know the Vikings
the NFC is out of my. I don't give a fuck about the NFC. I don't care. Yeah.
I think the team I don't want to play actually is the Seahawks. I think we would lose to the Seahawks because Russell Wilson is a better Lamar Jackson kind of right now. I mean, he's a better passer. He's won a ring. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Boy, I do not want to face the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I don't want to see the Seahawks. Yeah, I don't want to see the Seahawks. That's the team I think it just matches up perfectly with us. I don't want the Seahawks. That's the team I don't want.
Where is this? I can't even remember. Where is it? Where is the Super Bowl?
I think it's in Tampa Bay, isn't it?
I can't remember. That's why I asked. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's in Tampa Bay because I was thinking about, hey, if they go, maybe I'll.
No, it's Atlanta. Isn't it Atlanta? It's the new stadium in Atlanta, isn't it?
Hey, I'm looking at it now.
Okay, I think it's Atlanta.
Why is it saying Minnesota?
I don't know. It's not Minnesota though.
Oh, wait a minute.
The dead air.
You're right. It's Atlanta, Georgia. Yep. Yeah, it's in the dome. Okay. So that's still not that far of a flight for me to go. So I don't know. You never know. The baby will be here. She'll be mad.
I'll watch it.
All right. So I guess my team's the Seahawks. Your team, the quarterback you don't want to see is Drew Brees, but you don't have a. So
I
kind of your answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a chance against anybody. Like the Rams defense is tough. So I guess the Rams would be my default team that I wouldn't want to see just because their interior defensive line is excellent. So I guess if I had to say one team, I guess I would pick the Rams, even though their offense doesn't scare me as much as it might have at the beginning of the year.
All right. Well, in your particular case, for us to get to the Super Bowl, you guys going through the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Patriots.
All right.
Mine, I got us going through actually a home game against the Chargers, I believe I had the 3 seed. No, the Colts, excuse me. We'll get the Colts, blow the Colts out. We get the Texans. We beat the Texans. We get who did I say there? I think the number 5 seed Chargers. I don't know if the Chargers. I think the Chargers could get there because I think they'll take out the Chiefs. So we get the Chargers in that AFC Championship game. And then the team I don't want to see the Seahawks. The team I think we're going to see. Gosh, it's so hard on the NFC side. I think you end up seeing. Boy, this is tough. It's tough. It's tough on the NFC side. You know what? I'm going to say it's the Saints. It might be a Ravens Saints. For some reason, I got the road show. We already played all these teams except for the Colts. I think it's a road show.
I think Breeze definitely wants to go out on top. Like he is, he is wrapping up a stellar career, and like it would be sweet, ride off into the sunset. But no, thank you, sir. We're going to shove it down your face. We're going to give you the Rich Gannon treatment. We're going to get Brandon Williams to fall on you. Oh, sorry, Drew Brees. Who's your backup? Oh, whatever that kid is, the guy that just blocks field goals.
Why are Sam Ams and Tony Siragusa out here for the Ravens? What?
We bring the goose back for one play. Go out there and sit on it, Tony.
All right, so obviously we'll be back for our next broadcast. We'll either be playoffs, and we'll be talking playoffs, or we'll be talking draft. Let's hope we're talking playoffs.
It's a sad state of affairs. Hopefully we're talking 2 weeks with 2 W's, and we're at the minimum the 6th seed.
Right, actually, be just over a week, actually, because we play this Saturday, and then we got the week after that Sunday. So I guess right after New Year's.
I'm no mathematician, but I'll take it.
All right. So, we'll probably end up doing New Year's Day or the next day. So
we'll figure it out.
2019. Yeah. Wow, 2019.
We're the playoff team in 2019. Ooh.
Yes. All right. My prediction is the 3rd seed. You guys have the 4th seed, maybe the 6th seed. But you're going to say 4, right?
I'm going 4, yeah. I think Pittsburgh goes down in New Orleans.
All right. And I'm going to say that Al and Vincent will both say we'll probably get the 6th seed. And Pittsburgh will win, blah blah blah. And Rob, you crazy.
Is that your Al impression right then?
Yeah, that's my Al, and this is my Vincent. You're crazy. You're so crazy. Come on, you'll be roasted here.
I don't know.
We're not drafting a quarterback.
I think both of those impressions need a little work.
All right, man. All right, we'll catch y'all soon here, and I'll talk to you. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, you too.